666, which is the 6th of June, was a very specific date, very powerful date, a date that marked a key milestone in the history of this planet and a history of humanity itself. It was a time where the 666 portal that has been active on the planet for a while actually closed. So most of the time when we talk about portals, it's portals opening. This particular one, 6th of June, was the closure of a very powerful portal that has been open for a long time on our planet. And 666, as most of us know, is a very powerful number. It is associated with demonic powers in Christianity. In Islam, on the other hand, it's a very powerful number, with angelic powers. So regardless, it's extreme polarities that recognize the power of this number. Now, the 666 portal itself was rooted in command and control. So whilst it was active, it was really percolating, keeping command and control in place. Even though many, many changes and shifts have taken place on the planet, the command and control piece was still continuing. With this portal actually finally having closed, the command and control is no longer, there's no anchoring to that at all on the planet. Now, there may be force of habit that humans may control, may wish to control, but there is no root to it. So if, let's say, you have that propensity of, operating from a command and control standpoint, then you yourself will find yourself becoming unpredictable. Like before, it would just come very naturally, command and control. And now you may find yourself becoming more empathetic to the needs and the presence of the other person or other people. So you will start noticing yourself becoming surprised at how you are reacting to people, because there is no root to command and control. If you were someone who had the propensity to give into other people's command and control just to maintain peace, or just because you felt it didn't matter to you to compromise a little here and there, you may find yourself becoming a little bit impatient and not taking that on, and walking away from situations until you become ready to actually say that you're not going to buy into the command and control way in which the dynamic of a particular relationship has been going. So just be aware that is something that will occur. Now, if you can also consciously choose to not be in the realm of command and control anymore. Done with it. There is no root. There'll be listening to that. You will become very surprised at how clear you yourself are becoming about what it is that you want in any situation, and how comfortable and flawless it is for you to express that. It also means that as we were coming up to this particular date, there would have been many, many command and control behaviors, patterns, evidences, just really rising, like boiling up. Within you, around you, in countries, between countries. And we've experienced quite a lot of that going on. But you will also notice, as we've gone past that date, that we've actually entered a clearing. There is no specific modus operandi that is already there in this clearing. It is a clearing that is foundationed on this new, on the new world. So the clearing itself is all about collaborative co-creation. And it is collaborative co-creation of coexistence. So, some of you have done this, a journey that I sometimes do, which is all about leaving the past in the past. And a part of that journey is, you're walking ahead, and bang, a wall comes down, and people really feel it. And then all you see is what's ahead of you. This is something beyond even that. Like literally, there was a portal, a command and control portal that really only affected humans, did not affect other living beings. Humans, through their attitude, did exercise command and control, and that affected other living beings and the planet itself. And now that portal's gone, doesn't exist. You can literally do a 360-degree twirl, a Sufi dance, and it will feel clear. It will feel alive. It will feel unleashed. Because you're in a clearing. The clearing isn't cluttered by anything. You decide what goes in that clearing. And it is all about collaborative co-creation. So there are several questions that people have been asking me as I've been sharing this with them. And one of the questions that they've asked is, well, when you're negotiating a deal, you've got to be in a space of negotiation. You've got to maintain your perspective and, negotiate the best deal you possibly can. So then both sides are like, dancing in command and control realm. And my response to that is, you're in a clearing. You can choose to dance in a command and control realm, but there is no realm of command and control anymore. So what if actually you approached any negotiation from a collaborative co-creation? Being clear about what it is that you have as your ask to honor your own worthiness. Make that ask with the intention that the end result is going to be collaboratively co-created as a solution. So it's up to you. There are different ways in which you can work with this. The key thing is command and control doesn't exist. So if you do have a dialogue going on in your head that this person always does this, or how can this be happening in the world? You can use the power tool of acknowledgement as an acknowledgement. Because for the first time ever, you actually have a very clear possibility of making choices that are a reflection of who you truly are in the world. And allowing and trusting yourself to choose the right words, deliver them in exactly the perfect flow that is in the rhythm of you. And as you do that, it gets people to connect to the rhythm of themselves. And it becomes quite a happy collaborative co-creation. Initially, people may find it odd or awkward. So you may not necessarily immediately see a visible difference, but you will feel there's something different. It also means as you choose to uplevel your vibrations, it also means that you start meeting your rockets of desires that you might have given out at a subconscious level, which the universe has taken and delivered in a vibrational form. So if you keep yourself continually aware of what it is that you're vibrating and continually up-leveling yourself, you will come face to face with many of these rockets of desires. If you hold the intention of collaborative co-creation, those rockets of desires will get amplified and actually be grounded whilst being very expansive indeed. So it's a very special time. Some of you may find certain habits and practices also surfacing. This is a full spectrum shift. Just like when the command and control portal was created, it was a full spectrum portal. Affected everything. Affected us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. Similarly, the portals closed, shut, where we are now is full spectrum. It affects us and has an impact on us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. What you will feel the most is the physiological shifts. Light workers in many, 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 many parts of the world over the decades have talked about this shift from a carbon nature to a crystalline nature within humans. And many of us light workers have experienced that. And, we experience very physical symptoms. We call them ascension symptoms. They are systems where you're ascending to your crystalline nature. And they feel like, chronic illnesses or sudden illnesses as well. But you will know that it isn't that, because from time to time, it'll disappear. So when I went through my ascension symptoms, and that was some time ago, I felt like I had a frozen shoulder, and this part of my arm was completely painful. I could barely move it. I couldn't even touch it. It was so sensitive. And yet, someday I would wake up and it would be completely fine. And there were all sorts of advice, like take steroid injections and this and that. I didn't take any of those. It took 9 months. And then it just disappeared. One day I woke up and it was gone forever. It literally, one day I woke up, it was there. 9 months later, it was gone. So different people have had different symptoms. So just be aware that you may experience some physiological symptoms. And to observe it, do what feels right for you. If you feel you must go and see a doctor, you go see a doctor. You be responsible so that your ability to respond to your needs is continually enriched. No battle needed, no big long process needed. Crystalline nature also brings forth a very different set of abilities. Just like crystals are repositors and reflectors of ancient wisdom, they also are receptors of new cosmic codes and new cosmic wisdom that keeps coming to inform our planet as it evolves. You, in your human form now, will start developing these abilities. Your intuitive connection will become deeper, clearer, more expansive even. Because that crystalline nature of yours is being accentuated. Your ability to distill the wisdom of all of your soul's journeys will feel just completely natural to you. And you can work with that understanding. So that's a very high-level summary of the time that we are in. It is right now, it's a clearing. It hasn't been filled up yet. It is up to you to keep it as a clearing or to fill it with a few key things that enable you to be even more effective. From the 21st of June until the 23rd of July, we have another long pipeline experience coming up. So you have an opportunity, if you do have a project, or if you do have a vision that you wish to take forward, to really catapult it to completely new heights, bypassing many of the step-by-step blocks and hurdles that you might otherwise have come across. And with this collaborative co-creation clearing, you will be able to magnetize exactly the perfect collaborators and co-creators with whom you can work to take your vision, to take your projects forward, utilizing the pace, the paciness, the speed, the focus of a pipeline wave. More about it as we get closer. So we're doing a nugget of wisdom today, and I will do some more nuggets of wisdom over the next several months. I'm doing it because in this new realm of collaborative co-creation, in this new realm, your sensory organs play a very important role. Now, some of you have done programs with me where I talk about that in our organ systems, you have reproductive system, you have skeletal system, you have, excretory system, and they perform the function that they are labeled to perform. Our sensory organs are also exactly that, but we don't necessarily utilize them as sensory organs in their wholeness. So eyes, sure, they have a function that they let you see, but as a sensory organ, really their prime role is to enable you to sense what is it that is actually being shown. How do you sense with the eyes? You allow yourself to envision what is actually being shown to you, and you work with that. So sure, your eyes are showing you something. Something catastrophic has occurred. And you can go immediately react to that. And alternatively, you can go, okay, I'm going to use my eyes as a sensory organ. This has occurred. I feel this way about it. The world is up in arms. And I feel whatever way about that. What am I sensing into? What are my eyes really sensing into? What's actually been shown to me here? Allow yourself to receive the envisioning that will arise. And the 7 eyes that I'm going to be talking about today are designed to support you in that way. And then you can make your choice. And the choice would be whatever it is that you wish to act upon. And that action could be to take no action. Similarly, when it comes to the ears, it will be what is actually being communicated. Yes, I'm hearing this. And when you sense into it, what is actually being communicated here? It'll be different. And we will do the 7 E's at some point very soon. So let's look at the 7 eyes so that you can work with your eyes as a sensory organ. The sensory organs operating as sensory organs, and you really working with them in that way, support collaborative co-creation in a very big way. In this clearing, where command and control is not there, in this clearing, it is all about responding, not reacting. Reacting reactivates. But the reactivation was foundation on command and control. which doesn't exist. So react will really just spin you out of your true self at any point in time. It will not keep spinning like it has done in the past, because there is no command and control. Even reaction won't have you be gripped by command and control. You may as well observe, acknowledge, and choose to respond. So let's look at the 7 eyes. So at this point, I'm looking at my notes online, and you're looking at me. I can't see you all yet. Okay, so the first eye is actually I, as in I, or the I am frequency, as I like to say it. So the I in the I am is really the experience of feeling blessed. It's literally like being in the heavenly realms of blessing. So when you work with this first eye, and you are engaging your eyes as a sensory organ, then you're allowing your eyes to envision this deeply divine blessings that already exists within you, that already are there for you, that you have already experienced at some point in the past. It's so exquisite, this, really the journey into this first eye. And I always love to use the lay of the land in a full spectrum way. So when I'm looking at, okay, this is the first eye, I'm working with my eyes as a sensory organ, and I'm sensing into the blessings that are already with me. And I'm envisioning what is it that my eyes are really showing me? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. And you start experiencing, it literally is like such a powerful multiplied effect of what you are experiencing as blessings that have always been there. I mean, my respect for my eyes as a sensory organ and my understanding of sensory organs very rarely have been used in the wholeness of their sensory abilities, completely shot up with just this first eye itself, doing it in a full spectrum way. In my previous incarnation in this human form, body shaming was quite normal and natural for me, for myself, until I dived into what are these blessings that I already have physically. And I was like, wow, there are more blessings than these 2 or 3 things that I body shame myself about. Now, once you've actually literally just done a very factual lay of the land, sensing into what's actually being shown to you, when I sensed into what is actually being shown to me in the way I manage my weight as a yo-yo, I saw that the layers of what I put around myself, which has me look much bigger than actually my skeletal structure requires me to be, I saw that there was something I was protecting myself against. The good news is, with this command and control portal having been stopped, you don't require that protection anymore. And you will very soon sense into it. And your cells will relax into what is naturally your demeanor. But seeing that that is what was being shown to me, I don't need to be harder on myself, really. And that way I will want to protect myself even more, even from myself, which will make it much harder to shed that excess layer. So that was a very huge understanding that arose from using this first eye, looking at the blessings that I had. It gave me that inner confidence that, okay, I had so much more going for me. And you know what you're doing when you're actually noticing this in a full spectrum way. What are these? What is the divine, exquisite blessing of me that I already have, that I have already experienced? You are honoring your own worthiness. You are reclaiming your return to the dignitarian that you are. Dignity is yours. Now, once you have done the lay of the land and you've identified what are these exquisite divine blessings that you already possess, you can envision you operating from that space, owning all of these blessings as yours. As you go through this, remember, what is the state of bliss? How do you achieve that? Bliss is a consequence of counting your blessings. So to be in a state of bliss, you don't even have to desire it. You just start counting your blessings and you're in bliss. It's really as simple and easy as that. So as you start recounting your blessings, you enter that realm of bliss. And what does the universe do? It goes, yes, she likes that. Yes, he likes that. Applies a multiplier effect. And you have many more to count. And then you start counting on you as the blessed one, as opposed to you as a victim of whatever. The whole dynamic shifts. When your dynamic of your relationship with yourself shifts, your entire environment shifts. As if the world now looks different. And we are only on the first eye. In this state, you can envision the life that you dream about, the life that you desire, and it is yours. It is yours in that instant. The interesting thing is, because you're working with your sensory organ of the eyes, it's very physical. Your mind is completely calm. Your thoughts are not going crazy. Your survival instinct is cool. This is a thriving strategy. It is a regenerative strategy that automatically starts to regenerate itself. Completely in line and in tune with the 10 facets of the new world that is the foundation of the new world. You can take nothing for granted and be pretty cool about it, because at a cellular level, you have a knowing that you have this very special divine blessing that you carry with you, regardless of what occurs. And it keeps multiplying. Your state of bliss becomes your reality in any environment, in any situation. And we are only on the first eye. I get very excited about these things. Okay, let's look at the second one. The second one is intention. The second I is intention. Now, this is in the context of using eyes as your sensory organs. And you are actually working with your eyes to have them show you what is actually being shown. And the way you do that is by allowing yourself to envision what your eyes are actually showing you. With the second eye of intention, you can actually give a very specific focus, and you enable yourself to look for, in this situation, I'm looking at what are my eyes really showing me in the context of my goals, my purpose, or my aim. What is my intention? And then you can act once you have understood what that intention is. It is this, working with this eye, is what got me to understand the difference between reacting and responding. And gave me a deeper understanding of responsibility is my ability to respond. And so often people react because, well, I'm responsible for this. I have to react to this. I can't accept this. Well, you're actually diminishing your ability to respond by reacting. It is this intention part, really diving deep into what are my eyes really showing me? What is my intention? Now, I'm applying that to myself, but also when you see something that is occurring with others, you may be in a conversation and somebody says something, it has a particular effect on you. You can use your eyes as a sensory organ and really look for, well, what's the intention behind this? Show me what is actually being shown as the intention of this comment this person has made. And then you start seeing how much care actually does exist out there for you. How many people really do care that you are safe and you can move forward with security and with confidence? When you allow your eyes to really see what is the intention behind what just happened, what's actually being shown to you, it enables you to make discerning choices, sharpens your own discernment. I've had people in my business collective really go into, okay, there is this particular thing that occurred in your business. And as a result of that, a big chunk of risk-taking ability got taken out. And so it was like, okay, let's go back to that occurrence and let's examine it. Let's examine it in a full spectrum way. That happened. It had this impact on the business, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. Let's look at what is the intention? What was the intention with the lead up to this particular occurrence? What are your eyes actually showing you? What are you envisioning was occurring? It has transformed, just that exercise alone has transformed the forward trajectory of these businesses. They've achieved in 3 weeks what didn't occur for them in 3 years, and for some 13 years. Because something occurred, they gave meaning to it, acted on it, door was shut, or 20 different doors got opened, distraction all over the place. By just doing this one exercise, working with eyes as a sensory organ, zooming in on the intention part, the distillation of insights that you get is far beyond anything that you may have ever done. I also got to see for myself how when I've had, I haven't had many, but when I've had situations that like took me physically out for an extended period of time, like through illness or whatever, I really saw that that physical interrupt, it was many decades into getting there. It did just happen. That physical interrupt, there was a build up to it, but I never noticed. I was just so busy reacting. And all I was doing was reactivating, my sense of urgency, my sense of do, my sense of being in some form of a race. God knows what I was attempting to win at the time. But once I understood it, I don't have to be that way anymore. In my business collective, one of our distinctions that we work with is there is no rush. And when I say there is no rush, I'm really talking about you can be in a state of creation, which is the natural state, or you can be in a state of consumption. When you are only working with your eyes as I see, and that's what it is, as opposed to utilizing your eyes as a sensory organ, sensing into what's actually being shown, you can actually get creative because you've interrupted your rush energy. You can be creative. But when you see, you act, you consume, you're reactivating, and you consume even more, you can get consumed. This is a very, very impartial, evaluation of what occurred, and it makes you so wonderfully efficient and effective and impactful. The third eye is impulse. I have to keep track of time because I just get carried away with these. So impulse. So here what you're looking at is, that sudden, strong urge or desire to act, something that causes something to happen much more quickly than otherwise would be possible. Now here, working with your eyes as a sensory organ, sensing into what's actually being shown, actually sharpens your impulse ability so that it sharpens the impact of your impulsive actions. They're not, like literally recklessness disappears. When you utilize the impulse eye as a way of sharpening the sensory abilities of your eyes themselves. Your eyes show you, and there is something else that is actually being shown. You can see and you can feel into, sense into what is actually being shown. And when you apply the impulse part, you can actually have speed of action. But before you rush into that action, by examining what is actually being shown, you can even envision the impact of that impulsive act you're about to take. And you can anchor it. So me choosing, I was watching this video, The Two Compartment Problem by Jason Fung. And he was talking about intermittent fasting. I was watching it, and I do, make choices and decisions on impulse. And sure enough, I have the overarching intention of expecting and accepting miracles as the norm, with joy, ease, and grace omnipresent. So that's great. I'm in that container all the time. So now when I take impulsive decisions and choices, it is within that container. It wasn't always like that before. So there I'm watching this, and I immediately go into right intermittent fasting is my access to wellness. And I'm going to focus on well-being as opposed to losing weight. Now, it is interesting. It was an impulsive reaction, and it could just have been hinged on losing weight. And my body is the way it is, and it takes its time. So, losing weight takes its own time, and I would have come off it and given up on health. But by working with what is actually being shown to me, yeah, I've had 25 days of intermittent fasting, and there is a little bit of a shift, but not that much on the weighing scale. But when I worked with this, I realized that actually I did take it on as something that is going to support my wellness. So I went into a full spectrum analysis of my well-being, and I do it very regularly now, every 6 months, just to see where the needle is in terms of my overarching wellness, because that's what I took on. So even though it was an impulsive thing, it wasn't to do with, staying just with weight control. It was to do with overarching wellness. But that happens when you start working with your eyes, always looking at, yeah, I see this, but what's actually being shown? And applying the impulse lens to that. Let's look at the next eye. The next eye is a really beautiful one. And it is inspiration. Inspiration is, in spirit, I am stationed. It's a dictionary definition of inspiration is, it's like a process being mentally stimulated to do something or feel something, specifically to be creative. It's sometimes used as a sudden spark of brilliance. But really what it is vibrationally, it is in spirit, I am stationed. So when you are choosing inspiration as your way of being, you are acknowledging the spirit of you. And that actually gets you into your own joie de vivre, your own exuberance, and the spiritedness of you starts to express itself. And you plug into the spirit of everything. And now work with eyes. Look at a situation and examine with the inspiration lens what's actually being shown. What can I envision with this understanding of what is being shown for what is now available and possible for me in my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally. You can take, and I've done this. This is what gave me the understanding of the whole COVID scene when I got my first COVID positive diagnosis in 2020. I immediately went into the inspiration eye and became stationed in spirit. And I looked at that entire experience from that angle and realized that really this thing is a crown phenomenon. It's opening up my crown, and it is doing that with everyone. It literally is opening up the crown of humans and humanity as it literally forces you to go into isolation, where you actually spend an extended period of time with yourself, something you might never have ever done. And with that understanding, as many of you know, so much came through. You know, we created this whole online series, Catherine and I, at that time to support us, to support everyone through this whole phenomenon that was unfolding. And being stationed in spirit, really, you know, the container brought out the spiritedness in each one of you. And when you are plugged into your spirit, you are connected to the spirit of everything. And you are in a state of spiritedness. There is vitality, there is exuberance. And you don't delude yourself. You remain very present. When you are present, and you're present to your own presence, you're able to very precisely see where your intervention will make the biggest difference. You can work with your eyes when you see something that calls you to act and that you might have reacted to in the past. You can pause, in spirit remain stationed, and now look at what is actually being shown to me, and in that, what is mine to do. And literally, you know, some of you are part of my business collective. You always hear me say that I'm on a quest that what does that 0.01% that is mine to do, that I act upon, that will have 100% of the impact. Being stationed in spirit enables you to find exactly that. Because when you are stationed in spirit, you are one with what you are resolved about. And hence, you can have a haystack, and you can look through the haystack, you'll find that needle. Because it's the needle that is the resource that will support you to move forward with what you're resolved about. When you're stationed in spirit, you're in the spirit of your resolve. It becomes a magnet that pulls out exactly that which is in service of you achieving what it is that you wish to achieve. You can envision anything when you work with eyes as your sensory organs. It's pretty amazing. I mean, really, the creator it's so perfect in its imperfections. It is this journey with the 7 eyes that I saw, which gave me an understanding of what perfection is. Perfection lies in embracing imperfections. And you have the magic of the Fibonacci sequence, the golden mean. In amidst all of that imperfection, there is still a perfection with which things are organized and arranged. The 5th one is interrogation. And interrogation really is about asking questions, you know, seeking answers, seeking information, and examining it with conscious awareness, and then deciphering and discerning what it is that you want to move forward with. So this eye, the interrogation eye, you can imagine and we've all been in this space only using our mind and our thoughts, not utilizing the powerful sensory organs that we've already been given. So when you use your eyes, you see what you're seeing, and you're in this, you're going to you're in the middle of an interrogation, and you're going to utilize what's actually being shown to me here. You can go past what's in your face, just visible, to actually sensing into it. You'll be the Hercule Poirot or the Agatha Christie. of the magic that continues to unfold in your life. It got me to realize that nothing occurs as an accident. I may not have consciously made a choice, but even when something occurs for me, there is a subconscious summoning, if you like, of that experience, which is only there to support me to move forward in a very powerful way, as per the divine plan that is uniquely designed for me. I didn't have access to this tool at the time, but I did look back. And many of you read my story in the B book when I became suddenly ill and I was rushed to the hospital and I was going to be there for 3 to 6 months. And when I did this using this eye, the interrogation eye, what is actually being shown to me there? At that point, I was really consumed by the idea that, my gosh, being in this one bed for 3 to 6 months, quite immobile because I had all these intravenous antibiotic drips, I could easily have been consumed just by the experience. And I was for a period of time. But when I look back, what was actually being shown to me by my eyes with all of this, what is actually being shown to me is life carries on. My business is carried on. I thought everything was dependent on me physically showing up. And it wasn't. It got me to see that I'd already delivered so much to my federation clients that they were stepping up in their leadership, not wanting to go away from the federation, but actually bringing in a higher value presence of themselves as leaders, and noticing and recognizing how much they had achieved, acknowledging and appreciating that. So in fact, my business itself was receiving many, many more case studies and testimonials of their own accord. So I was really being shown, listen, good idea to pause from time to time and allow things to assimilate so that you can see where exactly you go in and intervene, as opposed to thinking you have to do everything for all of your clients. That is what was being shown to me. And that came from the interrogation of, how could I just suddenly, overnight, become so ill? And sure enough, within 9 months, all that medley of physical conditions that I had just disappeared. Yeah, I was heavier than I was when I went in to all this, but it was like, okay, internally I was healthier. And then I was like, okay, what is interrogation? What is actually being shown to me here? Let's stop being attached to this is the way and the only way to perfect health, losing weight. No, there's much more to it. That gave me the understanding of full spectrum well-being. Everything was so physical for me up to that point in time. And it all came from what is actually being shown to me here. What is actually being shown to me here, using interrogation as the context. And that gave rise to an understanding of, I wish to live an extraordinary life where all aspects of my life coexist with ease, joy, and grace. Before that, it was work life, home life. That's it. Then it became one life where I chose all days work and all days play, and it continues to be that way. But it arose from this I. 2 minutes to go. Sixth one. Sixth and seventh, I'll do it quickly. The sixth one is invigoration. So the invigoration eye. Invigoration, what is invigoration? It's about imparting vigor, strength, vitality, with the intention of animating a new sense of energy and excitement. Wow. Looking at something with this eye, sensing into what are my eyes actually showing me, that I am to focus my attention to invigorate. Can you imagine? I mean, like, oh my goodness. I literally took different pieces of my life and I said, I'm going to work with my eyes in this area of my life. It was family relationships where I noticed the biggest breakdown. I mean, my family was like, oh my God, what's she done? Left a corporate career, shaved her head and putting flowers in her ears. And, you know, what's she up to? Walking around in flowing dresses. And I took this on, invigoration of my family dynamic. So much came about. I never gave up on myself, and I never gave up on any member of my family to step into their magic. Everyone, and some of you have done it with them, that everyone has done the journey to miracles. You can imagine how amazing the experience we have. We have straight, direct conversations, which could be cringeworthy for most people, but we know where we come from. We deliver it in a mastery. We are presencing our sergeant majors every time that we are there. Family, you know, and most of the family now here is in Dubai, but it came about from this eye. We look at the invigoration eye when we look at, okay, this person seems really distressed, is diving into blame. What's actually being shown? And the context is invigoration. We are able to pick the one or two things, connect the dots, share it. The situation transforms immediately. You can apply this to any situation in your life. Always use full spectrum: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. And the last eye is invitation. You know, you see something, and what am I actually being invited to take on board? What are my eyes really showing me? What is this an invitation for? And then you make a choice whether you're going to accept the invitation or not. Invitation to step up my game. Invitation to open myself up, that there is an extraordinary life, not just a work life and home life. And an invitation to collaboratively co-create this time, as opposed to feel I have to do it all. These are all these revelations that came up when I used my eyes as a sensory organ, sensing into not just what's being shown, but not just what I'm seeing, but also engaging with what am I actually being shown, and utilizing the seven eyes. Work with it, play with it. Don't get overly serious about it, and enjoy the journey. And you will. Over to you, Catherine.
Thank you, Mynoo. I know we are just about out of time, but this is really wonderful. I so appreciate you giving us this new perspective on truly seeing with our eyes, and the sensory organ that we often forget about, and then the tools to practice with the seven eyes, which can actually show us what's being shown. So thank you all for coming tonight, and we will look forward to practicing before next week. Let's get down to business, and we will see you for will we be having a Pearl of Wisdom, or will it be a Nugget of Wisdom next week?
It'll be a Pearl of Wisdom. We are ready
Wonderful.
for the next one.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, everybody enjoy this period of time that we're in, getting ready for the next, and love to you all. And we'll see you right here next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mynoo.